2019, what a crazy year. I had many ups, but also some downs, and I decided to make a short video where I'm going to share with you some of the biggest lessons I've learned this year. Now, some of those lessons were just a reinforcement of something that I've been learning beforehand, but I figured, you know what, I'm going to make a video that's going to be very valuable to each one of you, so I hope that you will enjoy it, and let's get started. The first lesson is very simple. Health is everything. And the reason I want to talk to you about it is because very often when we have health, we do not appreciate it. And look, even though in my life I had several situations when I had health-related predicaments, I still sometimes realize that, you know what, I don't fully appreciate it and I don't do my best to stay healthy. So a few weeks ago, I was in Brazil with my girlfriend and she was very sick at some point. She got sick to the point where she was too weak to literally just walk on the street. So we had to go to emergency and it was a very scary 10 days. Now, to make the long story short, everything is fine now, but during those 10 days, I had a lot of time to think. And I realized that, look, health is one of those things that when you lose it, nothing else really matters. I mean, you can say that love and connection matters. True, it is true to some extent, but you cannot fully appreciate it when you don't have health. And unfortunately, so many of us are killing ourselves slowly with our forks and knives every single day. You know, all the unhealthy food we eat, also the lack of movement, the lack of exercise. So, you know, even though I try to live a very healthy life, I exercise, I try to eat very lean and very clean food, I still know that I could do more and more and more to stay healthy. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about this in the context of your own life and think about just one thing, one new habit that you can develop next year in order to become even more healthy. Lesson 2. Everyone struggles, even your heroes, even the people you admire struggle with something. The reason I'm talking about it is because sometimes when you look at some of those people that you really admire, some of your mentors, famous people out there, it's very easy to think, wow, everyone has this amazing life. Right? You see Instagram, you see all of those amazing pictures from all over the world. People are traveling, people are having fun, people are fit, people have a lot of money. And it's very easy to look at yourself thinking, fuck, my life really sucks, right? All of those people have everything and I'm the only one who struggles. And I just want to tell you that this is not the case. Every single person struggles with something. I feel like the awareness like this will help you in your life because, you know, rather than just kind of mentally slapping yourself in the face thinking, wow, something must be wrong with me, realize that nothing is wrong with you. This is just part of being alive. In order to appreciate the ups, you have to have the downs. Very simple. So let me give you an example, right? So when I do all types of different presentations and workshops, I like to get people closer together and I like to create this environment where people feel very comfortable and when they embrace vulnerability. So what I like to do sometimes is I like to ask people, hey, so how many of you in the room feel uncomfortable? How many people here in the room have moments of anxiety and self-doubt? So actually, let me show you a clip, an example of one of those speeches that I've done recently.
How many of you are introverts? Raise your hands. Okay, raise them high. Look around. Most of us are introverts. Now, some people are probably such extreme introverts that they don't even want to raise their hands, right? Sitting there, right? Final question. Just in the last 2 weeks, how many of you had, at some point, some type of situation when you felt either tremendous anxiety, lack of confidence, some type of fear, you wanted to do something, you wanted to take that step, talk to somebody, maybe make a phone call, just do something and you felt this overwhelming anxiety? How many of you had a situation like this at least once in the last 2 weeks? Okay, if you raise your hand, can you please stand up for a moment? I'm not going to bring anybody to the stage, don't worry. Stand up. Cool. I want you to look around and take this in. Just see how many people stood up. You may see people who seem extremely confident, who seem like they have everything handled in their lives, and they still stood up. Because once again, we have the same struggles, right? So I'm doing this before I even get into my speech because I want to set the frame. I want this cruise to be the best fucking cruise that we ever had. And I want everyone to feel this openness to connect at a deeper level.
So what you cannot see on this video is how many people raised their hands. And actually pretty much every single person in that room raised their hand. And for many of you, this may be surprising. We had many high-level people in there, but as I said before, everyone struggles, right? And the reason I did it in that particular situation was because it was the second day of a 2-week event, and I really wanted people to go very deep right away. And one of the best ways to go deep is to realize, well, those other people, they don't bite. They are also humans like me. Now, I also know many high-level successful people out there, and many of them actually admit very willingly to me that they struggle with day-to-day things. For example, somebody may have a lot of money, but they may struggle with their relationship. Maybe another person has amazing relationships, but they struggle with money. And then you have those situations where it seems like somebody achieved every single thing they could have achieved. They have all the wealth, they have all the fame, they have a great family, great friends, but what they struggle with is this strange, depressive feeling of, what else is out there? I accomplished everything. I mean, there is nothing to look forward to, right? And there are people like this. So again, remember, everyone struggles. And for me, this was just another reinforcement of a very powerful lesson that I learned this year. Okay, so the third thing I would like to talk to you about is called exposure and the benefits of it. Now, even though I've been doing this for several years now, only this year, 2019, I decided to push myself to the next level and really embrace the cold. So rather than just doing cold showers and maybe some of those 1 or 2 minute ice baths, I just went crazy. And I started doing ice baths 2-3 times a week. In some cases, staying there not just for a few minutes, but for 10-15 minutes till my body's literally shaking. That's when I get out. And I gotta tell you, this really changed the way I feel in my body and in my mind.
And embrace the fucking pain. And learn from the pain.
Now, of course, explaining all the reasons for doing ice baths is beyond of the scope of this video. I could talk about it for an hour, and I will be creating separate videos about it, probably while doing an ice bath to make it more fun. But the point is that even though it really pushes your health to the next level, it strengthens your immune system, it also pushes your mind to the next level. Because as you get into ice, or as you are getting under the cold shower, the initial response is, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This is too scary, this is too painful, right? So you wanna jump out, but then you push yourself to stay. And you stay in there in that cold water, and after some time you realize, okay, actually wasn't that bad, now I feel better. And this is a metaphor for life, because in life you will face situations, you will face predicaments and challenges that will make you feel like you want to quit. And it's all about not quitting and just moving forward and forward. So if you haven't tried ice baths yet, if you haven't tried cold showers, I highly recommend that you do. Let me talk to you about the ripple effect, because the reality is that many people who take certain actions don't believe that those actions have any impact. And I meet those people every single day. You know, people tell me, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but I don't feel like this has an impact. I published an article or I published a video, but almost nobody is watching. No one is reading. I'm not sure if I have any impact. What you got to realize is that very often in life, you may take small action and it may have a tremendous impact long-term because of the ripple effect. For example, let's say that one of your family members is not eating very healthy, and you spend some time to really try to persuade that person, to influence that person to eat more healthy food. And it works, right? And that person starts eating more healthy, and then in turn starts influencing other people around them to be more healthy. So you may be thinking, well, my impact is just making my mom or my dad eat more healthy, but in reality, 5 years from now, maybe partially you have impacted thousands and thousands of people because of that ripple effect. So because of that, I always believe that you gotta do your best, right? How you do small things is how you do everything. So even when you do small things, even when you feel that something that you do doesn't have a lot of impact, do your best anyway. So let me show you a personal story, a personal example of this that happened to me in the last, 1.5 years. But rather than doing it, let my friend Vishen Lakiani from Mindvalley share this story himself.
And Jimmy shared an identity statement with Jason. He said, Jason, I see myself as a Spartan. And so, in every decision I make, in everything that life throws at me, I'm like, I'm a Spartan warrior, bring it on. And Jason thought, this is really, really, really cool. I want to see myself as a Spartan. So Jason took on that identity. Now, what was interesting is Jimmy was so compelling. And when you meet Jimmy, I think he's arriving on Sunday or something. When you meet Jimmy, you'll see the guy's like really confident. And so when he says, I'm a Spartan, you just want to like follow him. The very next day, because Jason had adopted a new identity, Jason signed up for the Spartan race. And Jason ran the Spartan race. Jason had changed his identity. He simply decided, hey, I want to be a Spartan. What would Spartans do? Well, Spartans would fucking run a Spartan race if they had an opportunity. Jason was so... Now, the cool thing about identities are, they spread. Like, identities spread because we human beings, we imitate each other. After Jason ran that next Spartan race, he went back to the office and he got 4 other guys to run the next Spartan race, which was in the Philippines in the middle of a hurricane. They ran in the middle of a hurricane. They came back feeling like heroes. Their identity shifted. The next Spartan race, they got 21 people. The next Spartan race, they got 40 people. Today, 1 in 3 people in Mindvalley train for Spartan races. And we have the most ripped company you can imagine. Jimmy came to visit Mindvalley, right? Jason invited him over. And Jimmy said, let's test this out. So he simply put up a message and he said, any of you guys here at Mindvalley want to just skip lunch today? And instead of lunch, we won't eat. We'll go, and over the 1-hour lunchtime, we'll each knock out 500 push-ups. And the guys did that. If you check Mindvalley University Facebook group, Jimmy just posted a picture of the guys, these guys who did 500 push-ups. Between all of them, I think they did something like 8,000 push-ups in a 1-hour lunch break. Now, why? These guys wouldn't have done it 1 year ago. Their identity had shifted. When your identity shifts, you automatically make the right decisions that are in favor, because our minds have to cling to the identity we give it. Now, the moral of that story is, this Sunday, how many of you here are running the Spartan race with Jason? Great, so you see, it's spreading.
All right, hope that you enjoyed this clip. And look, the reason I'm showing this to you is because, quite frankly, when I was talking to Jason during that interview, I had no idea what's gonna happen. I could have never predicted that he's gonna get really into the Spartan mode and influence other people from his company to do Spartan races. So again, you really never know. Somebody may say, oh wow, so you impacted all of them to start doing the races. And the fact is, it's not really me, right? I was just the intermediary, because just the way I impacted Jason and he impacted other people at Mindvalley, somebody else impacted me, right? My mentors, like for example, Joe DeSena, David Goggins, Jesse Itzler, all of those guys. So it's never just about one person's effort, but what's really important to realize is that you gotta always do your best to provide as much value as possible, even if it's just value for one person. Lesson number 5, and this is something that I really struggled with, and I gotta tell you, I still struggle with it and I try to get better at it. Overthinking often doesn't lead to anything good. And you know, in my own life, I had many situations when I experienced the paradox of choice, right? So for example, I'm planning my trips for the next year and I have so many different options. I could be here and there, and I could be doing so many different projects, right? And I have so many interests and passions that it's it's actually overwhelming. It gets to the point where I should be excited about all of those different ideas and projects I want to do, but I start feeling miserable. And it's crazy, right? You have all those options, you have all this abundance, and you start feeling terrible. And I'm not sure if you read the book called The Paradox of Choice by Barry Schwartz, but by the way, sorry Barry if I mispronounce your surname, but he talks about a situation where back in the day he was buying a pair of jeans. And he said it was beautiful. You walk into the store and you say, hey, I want to buy jeans. There are 2 pairs, you try them on. Both of them don't really fit very well, but you have no choice. So you get one of those and that's it. You have your jeans, you don't think about it too much. You're just happy. And then he said, fast forward a few years later, you go to the store, you want to buy jeans and they ask you, hey, do you want slim fit? Do you want this fit? Do you want this? Do you want that? And you have 250 different pairs of jeans you have to try. So you keep trying them on for hours and hours and hours. The next thing you know, you probably have the best pair of jeans you could have ever bought. But when you go back home and you put them on, you feel miserable. Why? Because you know deep inside that it was your choice, right? You probably could have chosen better. Even though those damn jeans feel so amazing, you know deep inside that you could have made a better decision. So often as humans, we struggle with having too many choices. And when you start overthinking, over-pondering, it never really leads to anything good. So what I tried to learn this year, and I think I've been doing this pretty well, but there's still a long way to go ahead of me, is to make choices, make decisions much faster. You see, sometimes when you gotta make a tough decision, you're trying to get all of the information. But often in life, actually in most situations, you will never get all the information you need, right? You get just enough information to make a decision, then you gotta pull the damn trigger and make a decision. And I've been forcing myself to do it more often, right? Searching for flights. Hey, do I wanna go to place A or place B? let me think about all the info I have, set an alarm for 20 minutes, and then make a damn decision. I may not know everything, but I'm just gonna pull the trigger, decide, commit, and then I'm not gonna think about, oh, what could have happened, what should have happened, what if. No, I just keep moving forward, because when you really think about some of the most successful people on this planet, these are the people who have this ability to make fast decisions. Just go for it and keep moving forward. So anyway, for me, this is still a big struggle, but also a big lesson from 2019. In lesson number 6, I would like to talk to you about the power of a strong community. So this is something that I kind of always knew, but I feel like I could have been doing more of it. And this year, I've been doing all types of different events, my events. I've been attending all types of different conferences, such as Mindvalley U, for example, or Nomad Cruise. And I realized once again how important it is to have this powerful community around you. Community of people who really know what makes you tick, people who don't judge you for who you are, people who are always there for you. And I feel like in today's world, there are many people who don't have that community, right? For example, you finish university and you go to work for one of those big companies because of the pressure from your peers and your family members. And as you start working for that bank or maybe consultancy, you start hanging out with people who also work for that company. And in many cases, you cannot fully relate to people you spend the most time with, but you hang out with them because it's just easy, right? You met them in the office, and that's it. You kind of, by default, you have to be friends with them. And so many people never really look beyond that to search for people that they can truly relate to. And I understand, look, I've been there. I used to work for Goldman Sachs back in the day and Allianz. I know how it is when you work many hours every single day. It's pretty hard to take that advice on board and just go out there and meet people when you finish work at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. and the only thing you want to do is just to go back home and chill, right? But I feel like it is important. And nowadays, it's easier than ever in many ways because of social media, right? You can find meetup groups in your city as well. So you don't just have to meet people, on the internet. Actually, I like to meet people in person, not on the internet. But internet is a great tool to find the right people for you, people who can relate to you and you can relate to them. So even if you work for a corporation and you feel like that people who surround you most of the time are not that relatable, you don't really find that common ground with them, ask yourself, what do I really love to do? Maybe you love painting, maybe you love to be active, you love sports, you love traveling, then go online, find those people and find a community for yourself. And if you can't find one, build one. All right, lesson number 7. Now this lesson is a little bit counterintuitive for many of you, and this is something that I haven't really talked about online, but I decided to do it anyway because I truly believe in it. And I had some experiences, especially this year, 2019, that really impacted the way I see the world. So this is something that I've been thinking about and pondering about for many, many years now. And I decided to share this with you in this last section because, let's face it, if you're still watching this video after probably 10 or 15 minutes, then clearly you either have been watching my videos for some time or you simply resonate with my content, and I feel like it would be almost like a disservice if I didn't share this with you. So look, I believe that we humans are a part of this collective consciousness, and very often we look at the world in this egocentric way where you think that it's just you, right? It's just you against the world. And as long as you have enough food, as long as you have enough success, you will be fine. And that's it, right? Nothing else should ever affect you. But I honestly believe that, as I said, we are part of a collective consciousness. We are part of this bigger organism. And, when you think about just the way your body works, if your kidneys suddenly shut down, well, your brain will shut down as well. Everything will end up shutting down. If you don't have enough oxygen, you may think, well, everything is fine with your brain or with your kidneys, but eventually without enough oxygen, they will shut down as well. Everything is kind of interconnected. And when you look at our planet, we often think, well, if something is good for me, that's fine. If it's good for anybody else, I shouldn't care about it because it doesn't affect me. But I really believe it does. I really believe we are connected in some weird way that I cannot explain. I'd have to probably sit down in darkness and make like a 3-hour video to really properly verbalize all of my thoughts on this topic because it's a pretty big topic. But I just want to put your awareness to the fact that there could be more to this life than we think it is. And we live in this world where we pollute oceans. We actually pollute everything as humans. It's ridiculous what we do to this planet, often thinking, well, this doesn't affect us, but it does. It affects us. When you see all of the fires going around there, when you see all those temperature fluctuations, it's our fault. Some people may say, well, global warming is bullshit, right? There's evidence that global warming is just a natural cycle. Sure, whether you believe in it or not, doesn't matter. What matters is that you cannot say that we are not polluting the planet. When you look at the food we consume and how we consume it and how we create it, it's just beyond me. It's insane, right? I mean, the fact that we kill billions of animals every year, actually for no reason. For no reason, right? I mean, I've been using vegetarian diet for many years, and often people tell me, how can you be strong if you don't eat enough meat? Guess what? If you don't believe you can be strong, come to the gym with me. Let's attach 40 kilograms to ourselves and try to do pull-ups and see if you can do it, right? So whoever tells me you can't be strong, you can't be healthy when you don't eat meat is full of shit, right? Yet we keep producing meat in factories. We put animals in small, tiny cages, and it's basically torturing other living beings. Now, am I against eating meat? No, I'm not. Inherently I'm not. If there's an old lady living on a farm and she has a bunch of chickens, and one day she decides, I'm gonna kill the chicken and make a chicken breast, that's fine. That's the cycle of life. So I'm totally okay with that. What I'm not okay with is breeding animals in small cages, force feeding them with antibiotics and other shit, right? Just to eat more food, just to put that fat steak on your plate and feel happy for 2 minutes. It's a long topic. I don't want to talk too much about it. Don't want to share too many details because I, quite frankly, don't want to ruin your mood because it's a pretty negative topic. But this year I had even more realizations that we are slowly killing the planet and killing ourselves. And I feel like we live in this beautiful world where we can share messages like this through YouTube, through Udemy, through other, social media. We can make people aware, and that's why I decided to talk more about it, because I believe that, look, no one is perfect. I'm not perfect, right? But if we all just stopped for a moment and thought, okay, what am I doing with my life? And what's just one thing I could do a little bit better to protect the environment, to protect other living beings, to be a nicer person, more conscious person, then I feel like if we all take that step back and think about it, the world will be a better place. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. This was a pretty long one, so I really appreciate your time and your trust in my content. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that it gave you some good food for thought. Let me know what you think, post a comment, and there are some links below this video, so if you want to sign up for my newsletter, check out some of my courses, live events, etc., just check out those links, and I wish you an amazing day.